When the World Cup conversation turns to Costa Rica, it's tough not to immediately recall their 2014 adventure in which they escaped a group with England, Italy and Uruguay and made it all the way to the quarter-finals where they were knocked out by the Dutch on penalties. Their 2018 follow-up though was pretty bleak. 0 wins, 1 point, out of the groups. So which campaign are they more likely to emulate? Sadly, it's probably the latter. Manager Luis Fernando Suarez has a really tough job here, and he's not exactly starting from a universally popular position. He's been extremely reluctant to call up or utilise some of Costa Rica's best players, such as Randall Leao or Christian Gamboa, and although he is vastly experienced in international management, there's fair concern that he's hamstringing himself on the quality he can work with. He's cycled through a fair few formations in the last few years, with 4-5-1 emerging as successful during qualifying. It's a shape that provides Los Ticos the chance to bed in and be defensive and compact. They'll also mix in some 5-4-1 looks when they really want to dig deep. The football played will be some of the most reactive you'll see at the tournament, asking a lot of the defence in terms of withstanding pressure and a lot of the wingers when it comes to counter-attacking. If Suarez turns to a 5-man defence, expect man-mountain Kendall Waston to slot in at the centre at the expense of one of the attackers. Part of the reason Costa Rica feel comfortable sitting in and absorbing pressure like this is the presence of Keylor Navas. Star man and greatest player in his country's history, he will hope to repeat his heroics of 2014 between the sticks. It's not often a goalkeeper can have such an effect on a team's fortunes, but Navas truly is an exception, and it's like he reaches another level when he represents his nation, pulling off impossible saves left and right. With the pressure Costa Rica are set to invite upon themselves, there is no doubt Navas will have ample chance to impress. Back in 2014, he used the World Cup as a platform to break out and win a move to Real Madrid. He shared that breakout spotlight with Joel Campbell, who also used the tournament to impress and earn a very brief stint in Arsenal's first-team setup. Both remain key for Los Ticos, and Campbell's the man they'll look to for goals, although defensive work rate might actually be an equally important brief that Suarez gives him. For Campbell and for Navas and for many others, this will be their final World Cup, so you can be sure they'll find to enjoy the gruelling defensive work and running that they're going to be asked to do. To be honest, it's a miracle they've even made it this far. They began the final round of qualifying so poorly, failing to win any of their first 4, and had to win 6 of their final 7 to nick a playoff spot. They then travelled to Qatar and beat New Zealand thanks to a Joel Campbell goal in the 3rd minute. That landed them a spot in Group E, alongside Spain, Germany and Japan. It's the group of death in many's eyes, with Costa Rica clearly the worst side on paper. That perhaps is why it's so easy to think back to 2014. They achieved the impossible back then, so why not now? But sadly, this squad is older, it lacks refreshment in key areas, it lacks surprises, and cannot possibly be expected to even qualify from this group. The odds for them to lift the trophy in December reflect their tough situation. You can get Costa Rica at a best price of 1,000 to 1 to win the World Cup, but it is not a bet that we would recommend.